Today on Conversations That Convert, we're going to be talking about using video to convert high quality leads into a client's. And this is part 5, using video to convert high quality leads into profitable sales. Let's go.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Every week, we'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes tackling relevant lead generation, marketing, and sales topics for remodelers, home improvement companies, and home builders. Conversations That Convert is brought to you by Builder Lead Converter, your perfect sales assistant. And now, here's Rick and Diana.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Welcome, Diana. Nice to see you again.
Welcome. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody. How are you today?
Well, I'll answer for them. We're doing wonderful. Summer is here. The sun is out. The grass is green. The birds are singing, and all
Nice.
is all is well. Well, if it was only that simple, but hey, hopefully the time you spend here today will help make your day a little bit brighter. But what are we talking about today, Diana?
Today, we'll talk about how to attract, capture, convert high quality leads and how to do that using video. This is part 5 out of 6.
That's right. This is part of our YouTube University for Builders series, and we're specifically going to focus on conversions. So we talked last time about capturing leads using video. Now we're going to talk about converting those leads into an appointment, because ultimately, who cares if you capture a lead and they don't ever convert into a phone call, ultimately a site visit or office meeting, and a contract. So video can definitely be used in conversion. We're going to give you some ideas and tips on how we use it right now. So what do you think, Diana? Should we jump into it?
Yes, and I'm thinking about the name of our videos, Conversations That Convert. So this is similar to that. So
It's all about the conversion. That's right. It's all about the conversion. Nothing else matters. And that's where we get way too hung up on just generating leads and feeling good about numbers. But what it comes down to is, hey, did you make a sale? Was it profitable? Did you end up with a good project and a happy client who's going to refer you for the next time around?
let's go ahead and get started then. So the first question for you, if you're ready, why would a lead want to talk with you about their project?
Yeah, and that's the question on every single lead's mind is like, why would I take my time to talk to you? So we have to really get into the psychology of where the lead's at right now. So just as a recap, what happened when they captured is that you created enough trust and value online where they felt confident in starting a relationship with you. It doesn't mean that they're ready to get on the phone with you or even come to your office or have you come to their home, but they're willing to start a relationship with you. And if you remember what we talked about last time, we gave them an offer. And the offer was to provide answers to their most pressing questions. So just to summarize that again, their most pressing questions are going to be related around design, pricing, and then if you're building homes, finding a location to build on or evaluating land that they have already purchased to find out what can be built, or more importantly, maybe what cannot be built. So what it looks like is this. We have to deliver on our promise. Okay, so when we made them an offer, they said, yes, I accept. They exchanged their contact information for us. It was a negotiation. They exchanged their contact information in exchange for the information we're providing. So now we got to deliver. It's very, very important we deliver in multiple channels. We've talked about this in previous videos, so I'm not going to go into all the different mechanisms and how you do this. But the important thing is to deliver on your promise. So if you promised design ideas, you will send them maybe some different architectural styles. What is hot in colors right now? Perhaps products that are up and coming that are really popular for the types of projects that you do or they're interested in. If you're a home builder, you're gonna provide them access to more floor plans. Maybe you're gonna give them both, or access to both. But the most important thing is you have to have those resources ready. You got to get them to the client. You got to get the prospective client in multiple mediums. So maybe they requested a budget, which is fine. And I recommend most of our clients, Diana, that if somebody requests a budget, so we create a preliminary scope of work, that they are required to get on the phone. So I may have to do a little nudging here in order to, and we'll talk about how to do that using video to get them over the top to go ahead and actually book that call to get that budget. And then finally, it might be location ideas. Like, I need land to build. Hopefully you have some resources, or you work with people that do have resources to find land, and you can offer those up. So it's usually one of those three things. Now, there could be other things too, where it's just general questions, and you can obviously answer those or provide information through some of the other resources that you have. But we have to deliver on our promise. So any thoughts there, Diana?
Yes, I think that's just to make sure you just act and you do what you're saying that you're doing. I think that makes the huge difference. And it's so easy to say that, but sometimes it's not so common sense and it's hard to implement. I don't know why, but it seems that that's the reality. So how can you just make sure you deliver what you're saying on time? And if not, just make a phone call and announce. I think that's another thing. If it's you can just inform the client if things are not happening according to the schedule.
That's a really good point that you just made, and I want to make sure everyone understands that. We'll touch on it in just a second. Okay, the reason you don't have more leads is because you don't have the right offer or offers. Okay, you got to give people the right offers. The reason you don't have more appointments is because you didn't follow through on the promise. And the reason you may not have more sales is that the leads simply don't see value in your offer. Value, again, is in the mind of the beholder. So there's always a reason. And, a lot of this what comes down to when you want to make a successful sale and you want to actually get them to the point where they're signing a contract and it's the right profit margins for you, it's all the work you did prior to that makes that happen. So we get a lot of builders, they complain about all buyers are liars, or this, all my leads are crap, and that sort of thing. It's like, well, are you really doing the right things when you need to do them in order to move that lead forward in your sales pipeline? And I think that goes back to the human nature of things. We are too busy, we're too inconsistent, we are too emotional for creatures to really do this a quality job of this all the time. So we have to automate. We have to use AI. We have to use things so that it takes the burden off of us or our employees and put it onto a system that will consistently deliver what that requested information, in other words, fulfill that promise, and then move on to the next step here, which is, why would that lead want to book an appointment with you? Now, let me talk briefly about videos. So when you are going to deliver on your promise, you're going to provide the requested information. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, how we ingest information, right? We can listen to it, we can read it, or we can watch it, we can do it, which is kinesthetic learning. But the lead is looking to learn here. So when we deliver on our promise and we're trying to answer that question, why a lead would want to talk about their project, using video allows us to incorporate all three modes of communication, which is the spoken word, which is visual, and also which is visual using body language and also tone of voice. So we can incorporate music, we can incorporate voice narration, we can incorporate imagery, we can incorporate lifestyle. Remember, people buy emotionally, they justify logically. So now that we give them the promise, now we can incorporate videos, short videos in this, which is going to take them to the next step. Now, to get there, we're going to use a technique called the controlled release of information. I think you've heard this one before, right, Diana?
Yes.
So controlled release of information is simply this, is that you give them just enough to keep them interested, but not too much where they don't want to talk to you. So when we get into this point of controlled release of information, now we're typically going to be in some sort of a workflow or a campaign. So that campaign starts off by delivering on the promise that you offer them on your website or your landing page, what have you. Again, you said, hey, if you would like to get information on this, in exchange for that, I would like to get your contact information and get permission from you to follow up with you. Once they agree to that and they hit that submit button with their contact information, all right, game on. So now we're going through of delivering the information, but we're going to use a controlled release of information to give them just enough to keep them interested, but not enough so that they don't need to talk to you. And that is the key. So what we want to do now is we want to look at, okay, how do I deliver this information and how can I use video to want them to ask for more? And of course, that more is going to be the phone call. That's where everything is going to start. Never a proponent of going right to a face-to-face meeting, because you need to qualify and they also need to confirm if you're a potential partner for them. Interesting tidbit. I was talking to one of our partners yesterday. We just talked about, again, prospective new home and remodeling leads. How many builders are they really talking to? And so they might spend hours or months or weeks, looking online and looking for different builders and project ideas and that sort of thing. But Diana, it comes down to is how many builders do typically do actually have a conversation with to consider building? Now, you just went through this, so I'm going to put you on the spot as when you did your remodeling projects, but how many builders did you actually talk to or even like invite into your home to look at the project?
I think around five.
Yeah, five. And five would probably be what we would think would be on the high end. But I'm guessing so now I'm going to put you on the spot again. How many builders did you consider, meaning that you checked them out, looked at reviews, maybe looked at their website, social media profiles?
One or two, because here they're not so let's say they're not working on that. They work on referrals and they use that as their technique.
So over and above that, you looked at another two that you didn't talk to. Yeah. So anyway, in North America, and Diana's in Bucharest, Romania. Everyone hasn't figured out the accent yet, but in North America, it's not unusual for a client or a prospective building or remodeling client to look at, say, 20 to 30 builders online. And because they shop by process elimination. So they might look at 30, but they may only want to talk to, and five's a lot. Most people don't talk to five. It's typically somewhere between 2 to 3. But I understand where you are. It's like, yeah, you sort of have to talk to them or get in front of them because you don't have as much information available online. And so what we're looking at here using the controlled list of information is that we have to give them a reason to get on their short list. So remember, they may have opted in. They may be talking, they may be checking out 10, 15, 20 different builders, but they're only going to talk to a few, 1, 2, or 3. So now what we have to do is we have to give them a compelling information to really say, hey, let's get it into a face-to-face conversation or at least a phone conversation. So using a controlled list of information helps us do that. Now in the video, what we can do is we can repurpose the content delivery. And so what I mean by this, Diana, is that we typically would send somebody, say, just maybe a book or an email follow-up or maybe a text message, but everything is written. And we're expecting the lead to ingest that information and then be compelled enough to want to get on the phone with us. Typically that fails. It does not work. So what we're going to do now is that we are going to repurpose the content delivery and we're going to put it in video. And using the same format we talked about before, which is, again, problem, agitation, solution, introduction, call to action. That's just really the outline or the storyboard of our video. Adding in all of the emotional elements, such as finished projects, music, narration, with having a professional voiceover, which has been done on AI now, narration, as well as lifestyle, including reviews, testimonials, that sort of thing, into the video. We can take and repurpose that content, maybe that written email or that web page or that text message. We can compress it, put it into a video. It might be anywhere from 15 to maybe 45 seconds. But again, keep those emotions at their peak and then give them a call to action. Once again, they can't say no to. So give them an offer that they can't say no to, going back to The Godfather. So that is what's so great about content delivery using video, is that I add all these emotional elements and I get somebody to get over the top and then want to book the appointment. So any thoughts there, Diana?
Yeah, so I think that's very evolved and developed part, and it's important to keep that in mind when you're searching for a builder, and make sure you have that and you repurpose the content delivery wisely.
Absolutely. And finally, last note here, make it easy to book the call. Tell them what they're going to get. So if I want somebody to take a risk, and book a call with me. I don't want to go back and forth like, when are you available, and or try calling and then leave a voicemail and that sort of thing. I want to obviously have a set time. I want to be prepared. I want to have as much information about the client and their project before that call as possible. So tell them what they will get. Obviously, they are interested in getting more questions about their design, project budget, or if they're looking for land or need to evaluate land, more talk about the discussions on how that process works. So tell them what they're going to get. Obviously means the video that we create that encourages them to book that call is going to clearly explain the benefits to them. It's going to show them, maybe in some cases, what you will provide for them. And ultimately, it's going to build enough confidence for them to, again, say yes, pick a date and time. So obviously online calendars and where they can not have to rely on going the back and forth with you. And also more importantly is once they book the call, make sure they have appointment reminders, set expectations on that. You can add videos for this as well, right? So, hey, here's what we're going to talk about. Here's information we would really like to have, before our call so that we can make the most of your time, Mr. and Mrs. Lead. So that's what the videos can do there. Diana, final thoughts for you.
Yeah, so just build a strategy and spend the time to build that. I think it's worth it. So
absolutely. Yep. And so we are going to be in the future here, we're going to be coming back, and we're going to be, for those of you that watch the podcast, you will be watching the podcast, we're going to show some of these videos and what they look like for these different steps. But for right now, if you would like to find out how we might be able to help you attract, capture, and convert high quality leads using videos, so you too can pick and choose your clients and jobs, go ahead and click that schedule a call button right below this information. And we would love to learn more about your company and see if we might be able to help you scale, grow profitably using video. So for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all always. Thanks so much for joining us on Conversations.